My name's Diane. This is Artsy Wisdom. Thank you for coming by. I'm going to be doing a reading on some current events. I do astrology and tarot cards and a hypnotherapist, a life coach. But today I'm going to be channeling some information from Spirit about the wildfires, climate change, and the situation in Maui. It's just devastating and it's so very sad. And I'd like all of us to do what we can, and there's places to donate and send our positive energy and believe that they're going to get better and they're going to rebuild. Hopefully those people that are missing are at peace, or they'll be found and their families can have some closure. Also, I'll be reading on the Maga Extremists and the judges and jurors, if they'll be safe and if they're going to be doing anything. There was that man in Utah that got killed because of his confrontation with the FBI, holding a gun to them, wouldn't back down. And then crime, all these wonderful subjects, crime and the future. The Nordstrom mob in LA is distressing, and I looked up some crime statistics, but I'll get into those later. So for now, I have my cards, and I also do paper crumpling. Today, this is the wildfires, climate change in Maui. And I did read an article about how the vegetation is being eliminated on Maui, and it was just a matter of time because of all the building and the eliminating of those micro climates that keep the rain coming and the evaporation going up, so the rain moves to the southern part of Maui, so then they wouldn't have had this. But things have changed, so it's man-made. This part of this is man-made, but part of it, I'm sure, is climate-related. And climate has been getting warmer and warmer. So this is my paper, and I also do paper crumpling. So if it gets loud, I apologize because I have the microphone right here. But I crumple paper and I get energy. So I wrote on it because I want to be able to tell you, I want to put the energy into it. So this is about, let's just go for Maui first and Lahaina. Feels like super sad, and I feel this like dread in my belly. And it's not, it's just dread and it's sadness. It's that deep sadness that if you're going to lose somebody or something that's impossible, you can't believe it's happening. That's the feeling I'm getting. I do feel like it's green. Green, it could mean healing. It could mean they are going to have growth again. It could mean support. Green is the color of the heart chakra. So it could mean that the heart is coming their way. People are giving of themselves. They are feeling they're feeling that, important support from outside the people of Maui and I see climate change. Oh, I see like they're going to get a ton of rain. Why is that? I feel like they're going to get a ton of rain, and there might actually be floods. And that maybe cause other problems. Yeah, I feel like they're going to have so much flooding there. Wow, okay. And Spirit says it's going to last. I heard the word it's going to last. But it doesn't mean forever, but it's this. Or I'm also seeing things being washed away. The flood is going to be, things are washing away. And perhaps some of that is the changeover from removing all of the old ways of doing things, and now they're going to be converting back to a greener space, back to a traditional way of living where they keeping the trees, keeping the forest, keeping the vegetation as it originally was. I also read an article that a lot of investors are harassing some of these owners already, which is horrible, that they want to buy their property. I mean, unless they want to sell it and that they're going to get money and that's something they've always wanted, fine. But they're basically vultures and basically opportunists and very frustrating. But I do see floods. I see a cool down. and I don't know if this is a seasonal thing, if they have monsoon seasons there or a rainy season, but I do see flooding there. Like in Arizona and California, they, the trees burn down, and then they don't hold back the dirt on the side of the hillsides, and then the house, when they have big floods, the mudslides come and the houses go into the sea, or they fall or cause a lot. So all the ecology all works together. Trees work together to hold, the roots hold the dirt, so that way it's stable. But for Maui, their climate is supported, or its foundation is the vegetation that's been removed from all these years of occupation from commercial entities, and also people just making money and building and resorts and everything. So I do see flooding, unfortunately. Climate change all over the world. I see the swirl. The jet stream, when you look into the ocean and you can see the clouds swirling, I see that more aggressive. And I'm picturing the Indonesian tsunami from, 10 years ago, whenever that was, that horrible tsunami from the earthquake in the ocean that came and swept away a lot of Indonesia. I see the jet stream moving and swirling. And I hate to be such a downer, but this is all related to our life and as we know it, and all the energies that related to all of our experiences, how we feel about our day-to-day life. So climate is changing. I do feel eventually, just FYI, I do feel eventually we're going to go into another ice age, and maybe after our lifetimes. But I do think that's going to be happening. We're going to have, it's a big pendulum. We're in this hot time where the oceans are heating up, and then it's going to swing back, and there's going to be, as the earth does, it heals itself. And so that's part of this healing. The pendulum's going to swing back, and then we're going to have a really cold time, and things will almost get too cold. So Maui's going to have floods. They will rebuild, and they will do it in a better way, and they will do it in the right way. There is corruption there. I can feel it. There's corruption, and the money won't go to all the places that people are trying to send it to, unfortunately. And there will be commercial enterprises that will dig in their heels in spaces there wasn't any. So it'll be a mixed bag. Some of the areas will get their vegetation back, and some people will sell, and then they'll do commercial building there. But I think what they're going to do is make sure that they will be creating more spaces to rebuild that vegetation. So in climate change, I see the oceans getting warmer, and dead fish? Unfortunately. So I do feel like things will get better for Maui. It's just a matter of time. Okay, so there was the Judge Chutkin that was threatened by that woman. She was arrested. It was horrible voicemail. I heard it. This woman was arrested. I think she was from south of Houston, and she threatened her life and her family's life. And so I'm asking, I have my cards, but I'm also going to crumple paper for, this is Judge Jury's Maga Extremists. I had seen, sadly, an explosion somewhere. I don't know if it's related to this, but some of the Maga extremists, it feels like it's a court building somewhere. Not a big city, but a smaller city, or somebody's going to do something extreme because they feel like they need to, because their cult leader, Trump, they're imagining that democracy is ending, and he's the only one that's going to save them because he's their cult leader. They've been brainwashed. So they're going to commit crimes because of that. And that's what a lot of these people, they're good people, but they get confused, and they have been convinced by a sociopath, narcissistic sociopath. His name is Trump. So MAGA extremists, and not to mention all the Republican GOP leaders that go along with it, they are equally to blame because they are not speaking the truth, and they're afraid they're going to lose their MAGA voters, and so they're hoping somebody else is going to save the day, and they will look good, and the Trump voters will vote for them. So the MAGA extremists and the jury and the judges. I see Jack Smith. He's like way over here. He's not going to be touched. I don't see him getting touched at all. There's a bunch of layers of security around him. The jurors, I know the grand jury in Georgia's names were released. Names and addresses were released. Things are thrown. Children are going to be shocked. I see children crying. I do see the extremists reducing. I do see them, and I know that may be logical because all the indictments are showing people that, I mean, it's just drip, drip, drip. A lot of it's getting Trump buried with all of this stuff. Eventually people are going to, well, something's got to be true. It can't all be false. So I think that's accumulation of information. But they're going to target a few. The Fani Willis in Georgia, she's very vulnerable. Even though I see she's got people around her, security, I do feel like there's an opening. It's not completely walled like it is with Jack Smith, and he's very far away. Maybe because he's in Washington, I don't know, or wherever he is. But Fani Willis is I feel like there's a vulnerability in her security. There are people planning things. But she's tough. I don't think anything's going to get in. That Judge Chutkin, she's got security now, and that woman's going to jail that was threatening her. So there will be other threats. The jurors, the jurors, anytime he can let go of that or give out the information, he will. Anytime his group get that information, they'll use it because they think they're being patriotic. So here we are. So I do feel like them fading. It's almost like diluted, and put ice in a cup and it's getting watered down. That's what I'm seeing. It's getting less and less potent. There'll be a lot of people that won't ever give up. I just feel bad for the kids that are children of the jurors. They're affected. I see some kids really upset by what they see and how people are treating their parents or their grandmother, whoever it is. And those are the kind of people that are going to grow. Those kids are going to grow up and actually work towards bettering this country or the democracy, enforcing it or building the structure so it's not so easily taken apart. Yeah, I did see an explosion last month when I did this reading for him and his arraignment. Not at the arraignment, but around there. It's a small explosion. Unfortunately. I don't think anybody would be hurt. It's almost like they just want to do it because they can. They're frustrated. So let's pull some cards on that. Maga extremism and jurors' safety, judges' safety. And I pulled the Citadel cards, which are really cool cards. They have a city in them. Really awesome. Jurors. So, aspirant and the runaway. I'll pull three more. So the hound. So the aspirant, and it's upside down. Ambition, diligence, setbacks. So this is somebody who's achieving things. And I'm looking at it not of the original description, but what I'm seeing in here, and it's upside down. They're the Maga people. They are upside. Their ambition is perverted because they have setbacks, and it's not working out to their advantage, and they're very frustrated. And it almost feels like a wall is there. And then this one, the runaway, secrets running from problems. So I think they're moving from thing to thing, and maybe in their head, the other thing is, because I did it on the Extremists, they are running from their problems in their mind because they want to do something with their life and they feel powerless, and he injects power into their lives. He's sending drama. And some of these people need drama because they grew up in dysfunctional homes, and that's chaos and drama, and that's what's normal or comfortable. So that's part of it. Part of it is they need not a job, but a focus in their life, and they're floundering and they don't have anything, no goals. So, but they're running from their problems, meaning in their head, they're going from, how can I wrap my head around this? Is it possible that he did these things? And I don't feel like they believe that. I think they're just trying to focus on where they can help him. And the Hound, loyalty chains promises. Okay, look at this card. There's a Hound. It's like, couldn't you get a greater card? And this reminds me of them going after truth and law, and they're trying to eat it and they're trying to kill it. But loyalty chains promises. So the Hound is them, and they do not want to give up. But I know this sword is broken up, but it says, I think the loyalty and the chains and the promises are our legal system in the courts. So, and I think there's going to be a combination. I see all these little pieces. I think those are going to be a combination of ruckuses or problems and protests and things. But ultimately, law will win. There's a basis of it there that's not going to give up. So there you go. I use my paper crumpling technique to get the energy of a situation, and I write it on there just to help me put the energy into the paper. The Nordstrom flash mob that went through and to, I think it was Canoga Park in California, or I can't remember the name of it, went into a Nordstrom, stole like $100,000 worth of goods in a quick minute, and they bear sprayed or sprayed the security guards. And it's so scary, because you think that crime is rampant everywhere. There's a lot of crime in the Northwest. Well, we saw that when the Black Lives Matter and people protesting and not leaving. There's a huge homeless crisis and drug problem all over the country. Fentanyl is invaded everything. Drug cartels are cutting everything with fentanyl to get people hooked. When El Chapo got arrested, I read that he committed to putting a C of the fentanyl into everything of our country. So that was his commitment, and I think he's following through, or the cartel is following through. So this overwhelming feeling of lack of control in our lifestyle, our lives are being held hostage, and we don't know what we can do anymore because it feels like it's a dystopian future. Somebody reminded me of Escape from New York or something. It's going to be the future. So what I did is I looked up some crime statistics, and apparently we have been going down in crime for decades. The 80s, or the height of it was in the 90s, like 1990, and now it's just been going down and down. Certain states are higher in violent crime and certain states are higher in property crime. But for the most part, those states that had very low crime, like zero, like Montana or something, they have gone up. So the statistics look like it's gone up, but in reality, it's a very small amount. So in general, our crime has gone down 62% in the United States for all over crime, property, physical crime, and violent crime, I guess it would be that, and robberies. But in certain states, it's higher. Not higher than it used to be, but just higher. Like, I think Colorado is the highest, and then Washington State, and then down in Arkansas, Louisiana, down there. And then the lowest is always in New York and New Hampshire and Massachusetts. But Washington, D.C. is terrible. It's terrible. And they're having a really bad crisis there. So I'm going to crime now in our future. And I'm crumpling my paper, and I'm sorry if it's noisy. I see an orange ball, and so but it's like orange and then black over here. Why does that mean? The sun is orange. Orange usually means for me positivity, light, joy. It's your solar plexus, or that's yellow, but it's that energy of creativity. It reminds me of a Leo. It's very positive and joyful. So what I'm seeing is the black on the edge. Okay, so it was thicker. So I do see that the crime is going to go down again. It's like the edge of it is still there. Oh, that's interesting. So if you imagine an orange ball and like a segment of it's just a straight line and there's this part of it, it's a semicircle and it's black. And then eventually it grays out and there's just dark on the edges. So that tells me there's going to be a concerted effort to eliminate more crime. And it's going to grade out, so that's going to lessen. So crime will lessen. There will be the extreme areas because that'll never go away. There's always people who are malicious and they have problems, a lot of different reasons, and they commit crimes. So that's always going to be there. But that grayed out area is going to be there. So it's going to lessen. So crime will definitely lessen. There will be it's a darker line next to the orange. So it's interesting. So what that shows me is that they're going to, the people who don't want crime, who wants crime, but the people who really want to live a life that's full of trust and joy and safe in your own home, in your own town. And we see that line, we see the darker and we don't see the grayed area where it's getting better. So it's almost, it needs to be shown to us more clearly that crime is going down. That's what I'm seeing. So all we're seeing is the big news. We see news from all over the world or in our country and oh my gosh, that's happening here, but not really. It's just because they need to fill a 24-hour news cycle and they grab it from all over the country and then it accumulates and it just builds fear and mistrust and in the other people or whoever you believe is committing the crimes. So, but the reality is that the crime will go down, but we have to be they or the statistic people, the FBI or the police departments have to really market that image. And I think that's going to change a lot. And the more that is powerful and potent and joyful, the more we'll let go of that image or that fear. Now, the flash mob thing in Nordstrom, I read they did arrest a few people, but it's related to a couple years ago. Oh, by the way, in 2020, we had the highest, recent years, the highest crime rate. Because I guess people were poor or they didn't have anything better to do or they didn't have work. And so there was more crimes in 2020. But it's gone down quite a bit. And so the Nordstrom flash mob, and it's funny, I can't get into their energy. I do know they've arrested a few people, and it was related to another retail organized crime group from 2021. And they are learning. Now, the rules in California have become more lenient, so they're not putting people in jail like for small things. And I think they think there's going to be the criminals feel like there's not going to be no repercussions or no punishment. So that's why and it's funny, and I don't see that changing, honestly. I don't see them changing those rules. Maybe in 6 months. Maybe that's it. There's a part of the system that is built around that idea, and maybe they think it's supposed to work eventually. There's 6 months, 8 months. They're going to change that rule or law or those policies or whatever that is. And the police are frustrated as well. So I'm sorry about that. I don't know what to say. That's in California, and I know other states that are more progressive, or they think they have a solution to the recidivism of people going in and out of prison and the drug issue. Okay. So I'm going to pull a couple cards, and also wanted to look at the homeless situation. Probably doing too much right now, but I'm going to do this. The homeless situation. Oh, it's not good. I can feel it being very heavy. More money and mental health. Priest. These are all upside down. Small regrets, longing. There's a snake. And snakes are about healing. It's not yet. So the herald is about newness, bringing the seeing eye. in bringing transformation. It's not yet. And the priest, perseverance and having faith, that's in the background. So what I'm hearing is that spirituality or religion or that angle for the drug use and the, you're using your 12 steps and your higher power. I think there may be, that's going to be our savior in the long run for those people, because I know many people that have been in 12-step programs, and that's what you do, is you give it to God or your higher power, whatever you think of it as, him as. And that faith and that perseverance is going to be the only thing that's going to help them, help us. And then the sentinel, this is waiting and seeing, determination and certainty. The only thing is that these, and then here is amorphite, and that means love where you're at. I was going through a difficult time many years ago when I was going through my divorce, and my brother and I was thinking about, why was I feeling so? What do I even know? I should have did this, and he's like, amorphite, which means love your life where it is, love your fate. This is what it is. Your expectations or dreams or regrets have no place. This is what it is. Appreciate what your life is and love it and accept it. So it's upside down, so we're not accepting it. And there's always going to be everybody's going to keep trying. There's never going to be anybody giving up. So that's good news. This drug issue or the fentanyl, there's going to be an ongoing push, little by little, ongoing. Our people don't want to live like that, for the most part. And I think over time that's going to help all of us see a brighter future. Okay, thanks for coming by. Till next time. Again, I'd love it if you comment, give me some ideas for readings if you're interested, things you're wanting me to read on, current events or other things. And please subscribe and share and comment. All right, have a good day.